Can you imagine how much your daily habits influence your effectiveness? Habits, you see, are the invisible architects of our lives. They are repetitive behaviors that we perform so automatically, so instinctively, that they often escape our notice. But make no mistake, these habits are powerful. They are the silent gears that keep our lives running, the hands that shape our days, and ultimately our lives. They influence our effectiveness, our productivity, and even our happiness. For better or worse, they contribute to our successes, and yes, our failures too. Each habit, each repetitive action is a brushstroke on the canvas of our lives. Over time, these brushstrokes form a picture, a representation of who we are and what we achieve. So the question is, what kind of picture are your habits painting? Understanding the power of habits is the first step towards improving them. And that, dear listeners, is a journey worth embarking upon. Ever wondered why it's so hard to break old habits and form new ones? It's all down to a fascinating psychological phenomenon known as the habit loop. This loop is a continuous cycle that governs our habits, both good and bad. It's a three-part process that includes a cue, a routine, and a reward. The first part of the habit loop is the cue. This is essentially a trigger for an automatic behavior to start. It could be anything from a time of day, a certain location, a particular emotional state, or even the company of specific people. For example, the smell of coffee in the morning could be a cue that triggers your routine of making a cup of coffee. Next, we move on to the routine. This is the behavior itself, or the habit you engage in after you encounter the cue. In our coffee example, the routine would be the act of brewing and drinking the coffee. It's important to note that routines aren't always physical actions. They can also be mental processes like thoughts or emotions. Lastly, there's the reward. This is the positive reinforcement that strengthens the habit loop. It's the feeling of satisfaction, the burst of energy, or the sense of accomplishment that comes after performing the routine. In our coffee example, the reward might be the feeling of alertness and warmth that comes with drinking the coffee. The habit loop is incredibly powerful. It's the reason why we perform many of our daily actions without even thinking about them. It's a sort of mental shortcut that saves us time and mental energy. But while this can be extremely helpful, it can also be a hindrance when we're trying to change our habits. The loop is so ingrained in our brains that trying to break it can feel like trying to reroute a river. But don't despair. Understanding the habit loop is the first step towards changing it. By identifying the cues and rewards that drive our habits, we can start to deconstruct and rebuild our routines. And this, my friends, is where the real magic happens. Breaking the habit loop is the key to improving our habits and becoming more effective. Do you know what your habits are? Well, it's crucial to identify them before we can even think about changing them. They're like the invisible architects of our daily lives, shaping our actions, decisions, and ultimately, our outcomes. So, how do we go about spotting these elusive habits? First, consider keeping a habit journal. This isn't your average diary. It's a dedicated space to jot down your routine activities, from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep. Don't leave anything out, no matter how trivial it seems. Brushing your teeth, scrolling through social media, having that mid-afternoon snack, it all counts. Over time, you'll start to see patterns emerge. You might notice that you always reach for your phone first thing in the morning, or that you tend to procrastinate after lunch. These are your habits, hiding in plain sight, and now you've got them in your sights. Alternatively, you could examine your routines. Our daily routines are often a goldmine of habits, both good and bad. Look at the things you do every day without thinking. These automatic actions, these unconscious decisions, are habits. Don't be afraid to question why you do what you do. Is it because it's efficient? Or is it simply because you've always done it that way? By examining our routines, we can identify habits that we might not even realize we have. Identifying our habits is the first step towards changing them. Ready to change your habits and become more effective? Let's delve into the process of changing habits, transforming it from a daunting challenge into a series of clear, manageable steps. Changing habits isn't an overnight phenomenon. It's akin to steering a ship. Even the smallest shift can lead to a significant change in course over time. First, we need to understand that habits are not innately bad or good. They are simply patterns of behavior that serve a purpose at a given time. However, when a habit no longer serves us, or worse, hinders our progress, it's time for a change. The first step is to identify the habit you want to change. It's essential to be specific and concrete. Instead of saying, "I want to be healthier," say, "I want to replace eating fast food with home-cooked meals." The more specific you are, the easier it will be to track your progress and stay motivated. Once you've identified your habit, it's time to replace it. This is where the concept of substitution comes into play. If you're trying to quit smoking, for instance, find a healthier habit to take its place, like chewing gum or going for a walk. It's important to replace the old habit with a new one that provides a similar reward, thereby fulfilling the same need. Next, make your changes gradually. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are healthy habits. Trying to overhaul your life overnight is a recipe for overwhelm and failure. Instead, focus on making small, incremental changes that are sustainable over the long term. For example, if you're trying to incorporate exercise into your routine, don't start by running a marathon. Begin with a short walk around the block, then gradually increase your distance and intensity over time. Finally, use positive reinforcement to encourage your new habit. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Each time you successfully perform your new habit, reward yourself. This could be as simple as taking a moment to acknowledge your success, or as elaborate as treating yourself to a special experience. The point is to create a positive association with your new habit, which will motivate you to keep going. Remember, changing habits is a process, not an event. Expect setbacks, but view them as opportunities for learning rather than failure. Be patient with yourself, and remember that the most important thing is progress, not perfection. Changing our habits is a journey, not a destination. So, you've changed your habits. How do you make them stick? Embarking on the journey of change is commendable, but the ultimate challenge lies in maintaining these newly formed habits. It's the difference between a flash in the pan and a lasting transformation. So, let's delve into the art of habit maintenance. The first brick in the wall of habit maintenance is setting clear and concise goals. A well-defined goal serves as a beacon, guiding you through the foggy path of change. It's not just about exercising more, it's about walking 30 minutes every day after dinner. The more specific your goal, the easier it is to stick to. Next up, consistency. It's the glue that holds your habits together. Consistency is about showing up, even when you're not in the mood, even when it's inconvenient. It's about making your habit a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Remember, it's better to do a little each day than a lot once in a while. Additionally, don't underestimate the power of a reward. A simple treat or a moment of self-praise can go a long way in reinforcing a habit. It's the pat on the back that says, "Well done, keep going." Rewarding yourself makes the process enjoyable and worth sticking to. Also bear in mind that maintaining habits is a journey, not a destination. There will be bumps along the way, days where you falter. Do not let these moments discourage you. Instead, view them as opportunities to learn, to improve. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Lastly, keep in mind the why behind your habit. When the road gets tough, remind yourself of the reasons you embarked on this journey. Your why is the fuel that keeps your habit engine running. In conclusion, maintaining habits is a delicate dance of setting clear goals, staying consistent, rewarding yourself, learning from setbacks, and always remembering your why. Maintaining new habits is just as important as changing them, so keep at it. Your future self will thank you. What impact can improved habits have on your effectiveness? Imagine a life where your goals align with your actions, where your habits propel you towards your dreams rather than away from them. This is the promise of improved habits. They have the potential to skyrocket our effectiveness and productivity. When we replace mindless scrolling with purposeful reading, when we swap procrastination with action, we become more efficient, more focused, and more satisfied. Improved habits can also enhance our overall quality of life. They can strengthen our relationships, boost our health, and deepen our sense of fulfillment. Every positive habit we cultivate is like a stepping stone towards a better version of ourselves. But remember, the journey of habit improvement is not a sprint, but a marathon. It requires patience, persistence, and a dash of self-compassion. So let's embark on this journey together, for improving our habits can have a profound impact on our effectiveness and our lives.